Hi everybody, welcome to episode 3 of I Decided to Review My Entire CD Collection. This is the series in which I pay tribute to my favourite way to listen to music, something that is more poignant now since the death of the CD in the mid to late teenies due to the growing popularity and convenience of streaming. For more of an obituary on the musical coaster, I would suggest listening to episode 1 and a bit of episode 2 to get my take on it further. Why are you doing this, I hear you ask? I wanted to rediscover some lost gems sitting quietly on my shelf, and I had this morbid curiosity to try and rank all 594 of the albums and EPs in my collection. So far in the series I have reviewed 21 by Adele and 27 by The Addicts, ranking them 1 and 2 respectively in the best CDs I own chart. In this episode we will be adding AFI's All Hallows EP into the ranking to see if it can knock Adele off the top of the chart or redeem The Addicts by taking the bottom spot. I'm disappointed that I have a couple of absences in my collection between The Addicts and AFI. The first Adolescence album I have burned, pirated, arrest me, and do believe it would be a worthy album to own in its official release glory. There are 1 or 2 absolute bangers on that album, such as Amoeba and Kids of the Black Hole, that go down in punk rock folklore as being some of the best songs recorded in that genre. I also enjoy a few singles by The Adverts, but never ventured to give a full album a go. I can't think of any other absentees, punk or otherwise. Let me know which band or artist is absent in the comments section. AFI, or A Fire Inside if you're feeling... Oh, hang on, I've just realised that A Fire Inside should have appeared before Adele, and should have actually been the first artist in my collection. That said, I've only ever known them as AFI and literally never heard anybody ever call them A Fire Inside, so I can just about live with that. I'm really OCD when it comes to doing this in the correct order. It really irks me far more than it should. I'm going to move on with my life. AFI, or A Fire Inside, were formed in 1991 in California. 1991, that seems really early to me. I thought they were formed around 97 or 98. I find that baffling that they had already recorded 4 albums and 3 EPs by the time they recorded All Hallows. The All Hallows EP was recorded in 1999, making me 24 years late to the party. The EP was released on Nitro Records, run by Dexter Holland of The Offspring. He released albums by The Offspring as well as The Damned and The Vandals on his label, so you know that they're in good company. I thought All Hallows was AFI's debut release when I picked this EP up in HMV circa 2001-2002. Maybe I thought they were new because I had only got into punk in April 2000 and didn't really comprehend any releases coming out before I was aware of what punk was. I heard the song Days of the Phoenix, and that was enough for me to take a gamble on this EP. There was nowhere I knew of to consume free music online in those days, so I had to take a financial risk. This EP was picked up due to the fantastic cover art, which I still love. This is easily one of the best album covers in my collection. AFI's lineup for All Hallows consisted of 2 original main members, Davey Havok on lead vocals and Adam Carson on drums, as well as relatively new members, Jade Puggett on guitar and Hunter Bergen on bass. I hope I've said those names right. According to AllMusic.com, A Fire Inside were also called Anthems for Insubordinates and Asking for It. Again, something I didn't know, and 2 more band names I've never heard AFI being referred to as in the real world. AFI are a punk band heavily influenced by Horror Punks and Misfits and Nitro label mates TSOL. They are the band the Smiths would have been if they became obsessed with Minor Threat. The music matches the cover art instantly with the atmospheric, discordant introduction to the opening song Fall Children. A sense of Halloween is characterised by unfriendly intervals in the guitar line. Think Smash It Up by The Damned, but 100 times more sinister. Davey Havok's instantly recognisable vocals join in with the sinisterism, and here he is doing his best Danzig impression, his voice descending from every line as if the Misfits have asked him to audition, which they should do if AFI do ever split up. The song then does the complete 180 and speeds up dramatically, taking on a more hardcore punk approach in the same vein as bands like Oscar and The Filaments. They absolutely nail the genre, showing fantastic musicianship in the rhythm section with a driving bass line Matt Freeman would have been proud of. AFI are absolutely cooking here. It makes me want to roll back the years and find a pit and bounce into everybody. The guitar chords have subtle changes during the song to keep it fresh and interesting. 4-piece have a great instinct for knowing when it is appropriate to change pace. The Gorilla Biscuits-esque breakdown adds another layer to what sets AFI apart from most bands. We need to mention the Misfits again as AFI launch into a cover of Halloween, fitting with the theme of the cover art and Fall Children. So many covers are just traced drawings, but AFI choose to use the original as a basic guide, making it more hard-hitting and aggressive. I feel that Davey Havok is more himself on this track than the introduction of Fall Children. The Misfits version now just seems old and laboured compared to the upgrade. More terrifying atmosphere is added onto the end of the track. A piano played in in a non-conventional way using extended technique, as they call it in music college. The band open the top of the piano and randomly pluck strings and experiment with more discordant sounds. The keys are thumped randomly for a terrifying effect. Often, avant-garde music is without question the most pretentious genre by a long way, but AFI employ this perfectly. No note is wasted, it doesn't go on too long, and it serves its purpose. If I had a nightmare, this would be playing in the background. Think A Day in the Life by the Beatles, but they watched The Exorcist before recording Sgt. Pepper. I know it wasn't around then, but I couldn't think of any 60s horror films. The Boy Who Destroyed the World is your classic. This would sound great on a Tony Hawk's game. Hardcore punk ball of energy. You then Google it and you find out it was on a Tony Hawk's game. A proper hardcore punk song, very much in the same ballpark as the hardcore moments of the EP's opener. There are loads of different parts to this. The drums, bass and guitar sound like it would be really hard to cover. Davey delivers a great vocal performance again and shows his versatility with the breakdown section. In the final track, Total Immortal, you can hear them flirting with more styles. Emo punk mixed with hardcore punk, I would call this. I'm not sure what other bands have done this fusion, especially in 1999. Educate me in the comment section, please, guys. I got really excited towards the end of the track when the guitar slowly faded away and it was just drums and bass. To my amazement, Davey Havok started rapping. He only did it very briefly and then just abruptly stopped. They should have taken a risk and gone full Rage Against the Machine at this point, but instead the track just randomly ended with a huge whimper. This was the worst part of the EP, the fact that it ended. That's a good sign when the worst part of the EP was the fact it ended. This was a fantastic 4-track mini-album performed by a band that has clearly spent a lot of hard work mastering their craft. The musicianship was excellent. All 4 members of the band destroy the myth that punk musicians cannot sing or play their instruments. I would argue that Davey Havok is one of the most accomplished singers in the genre, seamlessly being able to change styles at the drop of a hat and able to boisterously nail pitches in the higher register, as well as lending his voice to slow, creepy horror rock that suits the band so well. I love unique bands and artists, and there is no question that in my mind, AFI are in that category. There's only one AFI, but there are many imitators. I just read the best description of Tiger Army ever somewhere on the internet. They are just a rockabilly AFI. Nick 13 from Tiger Army sounds more like Davey Havok than Davey Havok. Sorry Tiger Army, I do love you, but it is true. I just wish this EP was a full album's worth of songs performed in a similar manner to the record that we have. We were robbed of a full album of this. It was amazing. This gives me a bit of a conundrum now comparing EPs to full-length albums. This is why you shouldn't take my marks out of 10 too seriously. That said, I need to give All Hallows a 9 out of 10. Original, exciting, various styles done successfully, nailed the hardcore punk aspect of the CD, which is the best genre of music going, let's be honest, and excellent musicianship. The reason it didn't get a 10 was due to the rap section being cut short, the abrupt ending of Total Immortal, and the fact the lyrics of the whole EP just sort of passed me by. They didn't really blow me away in a way like Crass or the Dead Kennedys or rappers like Plan B or Akala managed to do. Despite no effects complaints, I did enjoy all the woes on the album. Now let's rank All Hallows with the previous entries from this series. How would you compare Adele to AFI? They're two completely different animals. They're both fantastic, but both so different. I'll have to have a think. If the house was on fire, what am I grabbing first? If that's a scenario, I've got to say All Hallows out of those 3 CDs would be my go-to. Once I've got the family out, I've been told to say that. So All Hallows knocks 21 off the number 1 spot. Let's do a rundown of the chart. Down to number 3, we have 27 by The Addicts. Also down from the last episode by 1 place into 2nd position, we have 21 by Adele. And this week we have a new number 1, the All Hallows EP by AFI. Thank you for making it this far into the video. What did you think of the EP? Is this the best era of AFI? Are you a triggered Adele fan? Are there any emo punk bands I should be listening to? 85% punk and 15% emo. That's a good ratio. Like, share and subscribe, and look out for the next video in the series, which I will try and get online as soon as possible. This will be episode 4 of reviewing and ranking my entire CD collection.